Hi, my name is Sheila Carreno. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love, as this will be seen on both channels. This is The Solar Disk by Jason Gray, written 6/23/2026. And I'm just now noticing that I've been drawn to his writings in regards to the sun, which I don't know, I just find it kind of interesting. Something of note for myself. There may be no symbol in human history more ancient, more universal, or more misunderstood than the simple circle, a single disk, a ring of light, a perfect sphere drawn upon stone, painted upon walls, carved into temples, raised above kings, carried into battle, worshipped in deserts, hidden within cathedrals, and embedded into the oldest surviving memories of civilization. Long before nations existed, long before organized religion, long before written language, oh no, that was it, not long before written language, humanity looked upward and saw a circle of light moving through the heavens. Trying to practice doing this without the oxygen because the lungs get used to oxygen and then will eventually stop working on their own. And I certainly don't want that. So humanity looked upward and saw a circle of light moving through the heavens. The sun and something deep within the human mind recognized that what it was seeing represented far more than a celestial object. It represented completion, unity, the source of all life. And I will say, I have read that there are shaman uh, through the African continent as well as the Amazonian jungle that have stated that when they uh, when they send their consciousness, they actually dive through the sun, that it is a portal of sorts. So I find that very interesting. It represented unity, the source of all life, the visible face of eternity itself. The solar disk became one of the oldest sacred symbols ever known because it expressed something beyond words, something every civilization instinctively understood. The circle has no beginning. The circle has no ending. Every point upon its edge eventually returns to itself. It is motion without departure, journey without separation, and change without destruction. The ancients observed existence and discovered that reality itself seemed to move in circles. The seasons, the stars, the migrations, the tides, the generations, birth, growth, death, renewal. Everything appeared to emerge from a source and eventually return to it. The solar disk became the visible reminder of an eternal cycle. According to the oldest records contained within the archives of this universe, humanity misunderstood one critical detail. The sun was never merely a star. It was an artifact. Not created recently and not created by humanity. It was not created by anything that modern science could currently recognize as civilization. It was ancient beyond comprehension, older than recorded history, older than civilization, older than many of the worlds that eventually came to orbit around it. The ancients did not possess the language to explain what they had witnessed, so they encoded their observations into symbols, myths, religions, stories, the solar disk, the eye, the halo, the wheel, the crown of light. These were not merely spiritual concepts, they were fragments of memory, echoes of knowledge that survived the collapse of older ages. According to the archives, there was once a civilization so advanced that entire stars became engineering projects. Not planets, not cities, not spacecraft, stars. The engineering scale involved would be difficult for the modern mind to even begin to comprehend. Humanity currently struggles to even build bridges. These beings built suns. Entire stellar systems became architecture. Fusion became infrastructure. Gravity became a construction material. Time itself became an engineering parameter. The builders understood that stars were not merely sources of energy, they were communication nodes, computational matrices, navigation beacons, consciousness amplifiers, gateways. A star could simultaneously provide light, sustain life, transmit information across stellar distances, regulate planetary evolution, and function as part of a network spanning thousands of systems. The sun at the center of our own system was one such node. Not fully artificial, not fully natural, something in between. A hybrid stellar construct. An engineered star seated within a naturally forming stellar framework and then modified over immense spans of time. The oldest myths speak of gods bringing fire from heaven. Modern readers assume these stories refer to knowledge, technology, civilization. The archives suggest something else entirely. The fire itself may have been the gift, the star, the great beacon, the central engine around which humanity would eventually emerge. This explains why solar worship appeared independently across civilizations that never met. Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, the Americas, Northern Europe, the Pacific. Again and again, humanity returned to the same symbol, the same reverence, the same intuition, the same overwhelming sense that the sun was more than a physical object, as though some buried memory recognized a truth long forgotten. The Egyptians encoded the solar disk into the crowns of gods. The Mesopotamians placed radiant solar symbols upon kings and sacred monuments. Throughout Europe, solar wheels emerged repeatedly in sacred art. Stone circles aligned themselves with solar events. Megalithic structures tracked solar movement with extraordinary precision. Entire cultures oriented themselves around the path of the great light. To conventional historians, this represented agricultural necessity. To the archivists of this universe, it represented something far stranger: recognition. Humanity remembered without remembering. The species carried fragments of ancient knowledge hidden below conscious awareness, like children standing beneath a monument built by ancestors they can no longer recall. The solar disk remained because the memory remained. Not in books, not in language, not in institutions, but in symbolism, deep inside collective consciousness. What exactly was the purpose of this stellar construct? The archives suggest a startling possibility. The sun was never designed merely to provide heat and light. It was designed to sustain consciousness itself. Its emissions were carefully regulated, its cycles precisely calibrated, its output balanced against planetary evolution. Every flare, every cycle, every oscillation, every magnetic reversal, part of a system so vast that even the civilizations that inherited it could only perceive fragments. Holy crap. Just that right there, brings a whole new meaning to why they keep doing what they're doing in the skies. Don't it? Wow. As if they really thought that was going to help. Life did not emerge despite the sun. Life emerged because of it. Not merely biologically, psychologically, spiritually, civilizationally, the sun functioned as a developmental engine. Well, it kind of seems to me like somebody somewhere knows that. And they're trying to prevent it to do what it is doing, obviously. I have for a long time suspected that a lot that's happening has had to do with the sun. So this is very interesting to me. The sun functioned as a developmental engine, a stellar classroom, a consciousness incubator, a mechanism designed to cultivate intelligent life across immense spans of time. The builders understood something humanity is only beginning to suspect. Consciousness is as fundamental to reality as matter and energy. I think that's true. Stars influence far more than climate. They shape awareness itself. The solar disk was never merely the symbol of a star. It was the symbol of a system, a network, an architecture hidden behind existence, a visible reminder of an invisible design. This is why the circle endured. Beneath all civilizations, beneath all religions, beneath all myths, beneath all scientific models, humanity continued sensing the same truth, that everything emerges from a source, that everything remains connected, that all journeys eventually curve back toward origin. The circle expressed that reality perfectly. No beginning, no ending, no separation, only continuity, only return, only wholeness. And that is why the solar disk appears everywhere throughout human history. Not because ancient humanity worshiped the sun, but because some forgotten part of the species remembered what it truly was: a beacon, a node, a monument, a machine older than worlds, an engineered star hidden in plain sight, the greatest megastructure ever created, still shining above every civilization that has ever lived, still illuminating the sky, still transmitting, still waiting. One day, when humanity is finally capable of understanding what it inherited, it will discover that the oldest symbol in history was never merely a symbol at all. It was a blueprint, a memory, a message left behind by the builders of the stars. Jason Gray. And I'll tell you what's so interesting to me about that is just before I started recording this, I was shown something else that talks about it too is a blueprint. And perhaps we'll talk about that at another time. Wow. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this in the comments or in my inbox, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. Like, share this video, subscribe. Would love to have you come on board. Until we meet again, mwah, be well, my friends.